So we are going to begin the session on syntax, and as we know, phonemes, the speech sounds combine together to form words. Phonemes combine together to form meaningful morphemes, and morphemes combines together to form words. And then syntax is the structure of the phrases and sentences in terms of words. And as we know, grammar plays an important part. Grammar is the central part of a language and the mechanism behind it, and every language has got certain rules. There are some principles and rules which are automatically internalized by the people during the language acquisition. So the syntactic analysis can be done in very different ways, and each method is known as syntactic model. So the grammar of a language can be studied diachronically and synchronically. Diachronically means through history, like how it evolved or developed through history, and diachronic study deals with the evolutionary changes of grammar, and synchronic study of the time at that particular time. So the new scientific approach has the emergence of structural or descriptive grammar, which opposes many of the concepts of traditional grammar, and the structural approach, thus, which is an improvement upon the traditional approach, is later modified into phrase structure grammar, which is further modified into transformational generative grammar. So in today's video, we will be studying traditional grammar and the fallacies that are there in traditional grammar. Traditional grammar is basically the rules and regulations we have about grammar, which we study from our childhood in school days. So structuralists oppose this type of tradition of school grammars. Because in the sense, like, the early known grammarians or the people who gave importance to grammar are Ben Jonson and all, and Ben Jonson followed and such kind of writers followed Latin norms. So they considered English as inferior, native English speech as inferior, and they compared the grammar of English with that of Latin, and they tried to put those Latin, the rules and regulations that are there in Latin norm, into English, which is one of the first fallacy, that is the Latinate fallacy, where Latin, which is highly inflected language, the norms of which is being imposed upon English. So that is the first fallacy. We have total 10 fallacies of traditional grammar. So the second fallacy is the semantic fallacies. That means the definitions of parts of speech is based on meaning. When it is like that, it will not work. Because why? Because see, the definition of noun is that noun is the name of a person, place, animal or thing. Then where will love or the word like equality comes? Equality or love is also noun, but then it doesn't match with this description. The same way the words like action, destruction, etc. they denote action, but they are not considered verbs. So therefore, this kind of definitions made based on the meaning is also another fallacy, that is semantic fallacy. And the third one is mixing up of different criteria. The same word can be used as noun, verb, etc. So that is mixing up of different criteria. And the fourth one is the normative fallacy. What is this norm? Norms means the standards of usage and all, and traditional grammar has too much of do's and don'ts. Next is prescriptive fallacy. What is descriptive grammar and prescriptive grammar? Prescriptive grammar in the sense, like, you set certain rules and based on that only you can have utterances, whereas descriptive grammar, from your utterances you take the rules. So traditional grammar is more prescriptive, and that is the fallacy of traditional grammar. Next is logical fallacy. There is no logic as such. Actually, English has got only two tense, past tense and present tense. It is in another languages that we have past, present and future, but we think that English has got three tenses. So that is the logical fallacy. Seventh one is lack of explicitness. Explicitness means clearness and unambiguous usage. But traditional grammar, it is quite ambiguous, as we have discussed before. Neglect of spoken form. In traditional grammar, they give more importance only to written form. So there is a neglect of spoken form that we can see. Ignoring language varieties. Only the literature, the great literature, the language used in great literature is given importance, and the other registered dialects and all are not given any importance. They are considered as bad English. And 10th one and the last one is historical fallacy. The traditionalists ignored the linguistic changes. They are stick to that, like from past, what all the norms are there, they are sticking only to that. New linguistic changes are not considered and it is not updated. So that is historical fallacy. So, the utterances systematically used by a set of native speakers are grammatical. In fact, grammaticality and acceptability are two distinct things. Certain things will be grammatically correct, but it may not be acceptable. Appropriateness is decided by the context. Perfectly grammatical or correct sentences may be appropriate or inappropriate depending upon the situation or the context. So next matter of unacceptability is the complexity, extremely complicated. If a sentence is too complex with all the difficult words, then it cannot be acceptable. So in short, sentences may be acceptable or unacceptable. Acceptable sentences will be grammatical, appropriate and semantically sensible. Unacceptability may be due to the ungrammaticality, unappropriateness, complexity or semantic oddity. So I hope you understood about traditional grammar, which is the grammar we study in schools. And in the next video we shall see structural grammar and how they oppose traditional grammar. Already the fallacies of traditional grammar is discussed. All fallacies are discussed. Thank you.